I really got you back with this one, Pineapple Peeps. Pineapple Peeps. In this video, we're going to be going over a majority of the muscles in the back. Now, just to go over a couple of things again, when you're doing these releases, I don't want you just kind of really going in there aggressively and grinding on those tender points, okay? You want a light exploration. When you're exploring the muscle, you're just kind of going over it a little bit, trying to find where those tender points are very easily. And when you find that tender point, I want you to kind of stop on it and hold, and then gently apply maybe a little bit of pressure until you feel a resistance barrier. And then you want to sit and you want to hold that, okay? You don't want to be moving around, because that could irritate it and cause some more inflammation, causing it to be more sore than it already is. So that is how you want to do these releases. And all the releases are going to be held up for 2 minutes. If you don't have a release in 2 minutes, then move on to a different spot. Muscles can release in less than 2 minutes. So if you feel it release in less than before the 2 minutes is up, then you can go ahead and stop applying pressure and you can move on and find another one. Alright? So in this video, we're going to be going over mid and low traps. We're going to be going over rhomboid major. We're going to go over serratus anterior, serratus posterior. We're going to be going over latissimus dorsi. We're going to be going over erectors, and we're going to be going over the QL. So stay tuned, and we're going to get right into that. So to demonstrate these, I'm going to have to turn my back on you. So please don't think I'm rude, and I'll try to speak up so that you can hear me. And I am going to display a picture of each of the muscles. And I believe most of my pictures have a trigger point diagram as well. So you can see where the most common trigger points are for those specific muscles. And you'll be surprised to find that that might be where your tender points are, or they may not be. So don't think that's where your trigger points have to be. Those are just more common areas that they could be. So just pause the video on the pictures, and then look at where the muscle is, and then you can explore that muscle. Okay? Let's get into this. Now we're going to be going over mid and low trap. Mid trap, I would say, is probably about right here, and it goes over and connects along in here. And as you go down, it turns into the low trap. You can explore all this area, and more than likely the traps are probably going to be tight and have the trigger points closer to the spinal column. Typically. Because if you find a trigger point that's over on the scapular border, that could very well be a rhomboid trigger point. But those aren't always the case. So you want to kind of explore into here. You might find some big trigger points along in here. And if you need to go down a little lower, then you can always go under your arm. You see how I'm holding this like this? That's why I like this back lever. It really allows you to get in there pretty good. So you're going to explore all this area from upper trap area to lower trap area. And you're going to find your tender areas or your trigger points. And you're going to sit and you're going to hold those for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And that's the traps. Next is going to be rhomboid major. You have two rhomboids. You have minor and major. Major is the bigger one and it's lower. And it's going to come off right around C7. And it goes to your scapula here. So you can explore right around this upper portion of your scapula for some of those trigger points for the rhomboid, or between that and the spinal column. So you'll explore this area pretty good. See if there's any tender points, and then you know what to do. Sit and hold it. Now the erectors, they come in sets. There's the lumborum erectors, or lumbar erectors, that follow along the lumbar vertebrae. Then there's the thoracic region, And there's the cervical region. We're going to concentrate on the thoracic and lumbar region, so you can just kind of explore bilaterally, which just means on both sides. Come over here, you may need to, or you may not to, do both sides for any particular muscle. But you can always explore and see if there's anything that you feel like needs to be addressed. So you can just come right along, up and down, either side of that spine. See if you find any tenderness in those erectors. And if you find those tender points, then you sit and you hold them. Next, we're going to have latissimus dorsi. And a big connection point that gets tight is when it has this little connection at the bottom of the scapula here. This bottom corner of the scapula. You can explore around in this area. And another muscle that's close to this area is also the serratus anterior. So you can probably hit them the same time if you just go right, give that bottom corner of the scapula a good exploring. Latissimus dorsi is going to be more medial, and serratus anterior will be more lateral. And I found a nice juicy trigger point right here in my serratus anterior. And that's probably because I've been doing some specific activation exercises for serratus anterior. And those are definitely working because I feel that serratus anterior pretty tight. If you want to sit and you want to hold those trigger points, if you find them in latissimus dorsi or serratus anterior. Excuse me. Serratus posterior is going to be down here a little bit more on your bottom ribs. And this can be a really ticklish spot for some people if these are tight. If you want to kind of explore around this here bottom rib cage area and see if you can find any trigger points in that serratus posterior. And then next is the QL. The QL is going to be right into here in your lumbar area, so it's below your rib cage. My rib cage is right here. For serratus posterior, I was above that mark. For QL, I'm going to be below so that there's no ribs here. All you're going to feel here is the erectors and the QL. And you're going to want to be, this area can be really sensitive. This area can be really sensitive. So be careful. And this area might even be hard to get into the QL if you're sitting down. So to show you a little bit of a better way, we can lay down with this. So we can lay on our backs. And we can take our back knobber and we can just kind of flip it under our low back, and we can see if that makes a pretty good difference. I am really tender around my lumbar spine, and I believe that I'm picking up more tension in my erectors than my QL. So this is a good way to also get the lumbar erectors. It's probably best to lay down on your back like this to address the lumbar erectors and the QL. But be very careful with this area, because if you push in too hard or you don't know where you're really jamming at, you could probably go as deep and be jamming into an organ that you don't want to be, and that can be uncomfortable. So make sure that you're on the muscles when you're doing this. Alright, and that's how you release those muscles in the back. Now, if you found this video, it might be because I directed you to it, so I might have only assigned a few of these muscles to you. So just do the muscles that I prescribed to you, and if you'd like to know which muscles you need to work on, then feel free to contact me. I am moving to a new personal training platform, so I am able to take remote clients. So it doesn't matter where you are, I will be able to provide personal training services for you. I can evaluate you and assign the corrective exercises and help you meet some of your goals. So just contact me and I can let you know how to go from there. Now stay tuned, we're going to move into our stretch routines. Stretch is for the latissimus dorsi, and there's a couple ways that you can do it, and this is just the first way to do it with the wall. Handy dandy wall. So what you're going to do is you want to take your hands and you want to place them up high on the wall. You want to stand about feet hips distance apart just to keep your balance, and you can go back and keep going back, and then push into those arms so that you're pulling them back. And you should really feel that good stretch. That's one way to do this. Another way to do this stretch with latissimus dorsi is if you have a handy dandy pull-up bar. Very, very nice. It makes it very, very easy where you could just grab a hold and you can kind of gently let yourself hang. And even move forward like this so that those arms are pulled back. And then just let it hang down. And that really just stretches your scapula. Or, let me get this set up properly. Or you can attach a resistance band to something, and you can really pull down like this. Now, if you do it this way with the resistance band, which is my favorite and preferred way, because you can get two muscles with one. So while you're just going straight down and back for latissimus dorsi, you can go from side to side, and that really gets that mid and low trap really good too. So when you lean over to this side, and then you lean over to this side, so I'm leaning this way, and all of this is being pulled. And that's getting those traps really, really good. And, you can hold these stretches up to about 1.5 minutes. You don't have to go to the full 1.5 minutes. That can seem like a long time to some muscles that are particularly tight. So just start at about 30-45 seconds and see how that goes. And work your way up to about 1.5 minutes with these stretches. Okay, so that is latissimus dorsi and mid and low traps. Here's a good one for the serratus anterior. So if you just want to put your arms straight up and you want to grab whichever wrist you want to, and then kind of pull it to the side, just like that. That's a really good one for serratus anterior. And I guess you could, probably better serratus anterior. I was going to say latissimus dorsi too, but no, this one is definitely more serratus anterior. Then you can pull to this side. And that's a good one for serratus anterior. Now back to the mat. The next two we're going to do is going to be cat-cow and child's pose. These are extremely wonderful. Cat-cow is very, very good for all the erectors. Thoracic to lumbar, and the child's pose is really good for the QL, for the traps, for latissimus dorsi, all the way up your back. So this is how we do the cat-cow. We're going to get in tabletop position. Right there we have our straight 4 legs, 4 points of contact, everything straight, back straight. And a good way to do this is with your breath. So just breathe normally. And when you breathe in, you fill your belly up when you breathe in and you drop it. Okay? And then when you breathe out, you round that upper back up. So you breathe in and you fill your belly up, it gets heavy. And then you breathe out. breathe in, your belly gets heavy, and you breathe out. Okay, that is cat-cow. You can do about 10 to 15 of those. And then for child's pose, you're going to want to sit down on your heels, and to begin, since we are beginners here, we can keep our knees closed and we can just kind of walk ourselves forward, nice and gentle, walk forward. Now I'm down on my elbows here, and then I'm going to keep going forward, and I'm going to keep going down and try to get your forehead to the ground while keeping your butt on your heels. Okay, the goal is forehead to the ground while keeping your butt on your heels. Okay? So you're going to ease forward. You're easing forward so that you're making sure you're concentrating on keeping that butt to your heels. Otherwise, it can come up, okay? That's not doing child's pose. It's got to be down and firm. And then forehead. And you're reaching all the way forward. And then when you get down in this position, you're going to tilt your pelvis. You're going to tilt your sacrum even more so that you're really spreading that low back, okay? So I'm coming down like this again. And then I am lengthening that low back even more. Now if you advance past this to get down further and get a better stretch on the low back, if you advance and you have that under control, you can separate your knees a little bit so you create this space. And then you can go down even further. And that is a nice stretch as well. So that's cat-cow and that's child's pose. And from this position, we're just going to swing our legs around like this, and we're going to sit straight up, and this is a good stretch for the upper thoracic erectors. But what you can do is you can just look down, and then you can take your hands and you can just kind of apply a little bit of pressure, and you should feel that stretch all the way down your neck, but also into your thoracic. Kind of round it a little bit. And that is a really good stretch for those thoracic erectors. Okay. Next stretch is going to be reaching for your toes. So while sitting up straight, you're just going to lean forward and you grab wherever you can reach. You can grab your toes, you can grab the middle of your foot, you can grab your ankles. If you only go this far, you can grab your shins, you can grab your knees. But however far down you go, you can grab and you can hold that. And this is a really nice one for that low back as well. And then from here, what we can do is we can take this leg, bring it up and cross it over the knee of the opposite leg. And then you bring opposite elbow to opposite knee, and you twist. Just like this. And you can do both sides, like this, elbow to knee, and twist. This one is a really good one. This one's a really good one for serratus, for, it really stretches everything that's connected to the scapula, to be honest. This is a really great one. It kind of twists all of them up. Alright. And then I believe that brings us to the last stretch, and this is one for the QL. you're going to lay all the way down flat. And you're going to have your legs bent and just a nice and loose like this. Kind of separate them hips distance apart. And then what you can do is you can windshield wiper them. So you can let them both fall one way. And you can let them fall the other way. And you just let it just sit and rest there, and you should really feel that pulling on that low back, on that QL, and this is a really great stretch for that. You go back this way and stretch out the other side. So with all these stretches, if you're just beginning, and if you're a beginner, stick to, see if you can reach 30 to 45 seconds of each of these stretches for each side if you're doing both sides. If that's pretty easy for you, then you can move up to a minute. If that's easy for you, then you can go to a minute and a half. Okay? Thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed this release and stretch routine for a majority of the muscles in your back. We got them. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get all notifications for all my videos. I got one more coming in the back knobber series. That's going to be for erectors and the upper neck, pecs, all this right here, Is this tight? That's the next video. Hit that notification bell and you'll know when I drop it. Peace.